Okay, so I am absolutely fired up to show you my prototype for HCI. So on the left is my original prototype and on the right is my final prototype. Now originally I just wanted to do screenshots. However, I ended up just vibe coding the whole thing using Opus 4.6, AWS Lambda functions, and Windsurf. So it was functional enough to send to people. And then what I did was I put survey responses here. So as they were answering stuff about prototype A and B, I would just insert and add those features along to the final prototype. So with the first prototype here, we're on prototype A, as you can see /chat. Someone would ask Lola, hey Lola, how was your weekend? And right away when people were evaluating this, what came up is they thought it was cool, they thought it was awesome, the AI chat feature, but they wanted to see multiple languages. Now, what was really interesting about that was, hey Lola, how was your day? Is that people taking the information that they knew before, they would answer and use this like ChatGPT. So they would just say, hey, speak French instead of Spanish, but it wouldn't switch to French or German or Mandarin or whatever language they used. Also, in my first survey, I looked at all the languages they wanted to speak, and I just went there and I added essentially the majority that I saw. So that would allow the participants in the class to sort of pick which language they wanted to use so they could better evaluate the interface. Also, I saw that a signifier from version to version that I saw was people wanted more instruction on what to do when they're at this page. So I said this here, ask Lola a question, what's your idea of a perfect day? In future iterations, maybe I just have Lola talk to them originally, but that's what I did in the first one. For prototype B, as you can see, this switches to voice here, voice here. Originally, it was just you click this and you listen. So let's demonstrate.
Hola, ¿cómo fue tu fin de semana? Mi fin de semana fue genial, gracias. ¿Y el tuyo? My weekend was great. Then yours.
Awesome. So that's sort of that feature of the voice. So you can listen to the pronunciation, how to say it, and then you would know how to say it. But people wanted more voice features. Now, voice was the most popular prototype, so prototype B was my most popular. But listening to the survey responses, I added a mic function and I allowed people to talk. So here I can say this. Salut, comment était ta journée, Lola? Est bonne or est mal? So I'll say that. Now Lola's thinking about what I'm saying. So you can see the signifier. You can see something's happening. You can see Lola's thinking. So it allows the person to wait.
C'était une bonne journée. It was a good day. S ne s'utilise pas ici. Ma journée était merveilleuse. Merci. Et toi, comment se passe ta journée?
So really interesting here. Here she gives a correction. Elle ne s'utilise pas ici. And you can see here that the corrections in English, she actually didn't say this out loud, and that's because one of the sort of feedback that I got in the survey was, hey, would it be cool if they wouldn't say like the English aloud and maybe just focus on the French part? Also, one of the things they added was, hey, it's sort of fast sometimes, can you slow it down? So now I have a way where you click here.
C'était une bonne journée. It was a good day. S ne s'utilise pas ici. Ma journée était
So you can sort of see.
Merci. Et toi, comment se passe ta journée?
So it's really cool. You can sort of see the pronunciation when it's going very, very slowly. You'll notice I kind of butchered this section here, and using the pronunciation, I kind of can understand what's going on there. So prototype B was the most popular one. However, prototype C was the least popular with the least amount of votes going through it. When you go here, prototype C is a community chat feature. As you can tell so far, I'm trying to redesign Duolingo. That's sort of the task that's on hand here. So here I'll say Mark, here I'll say Johnny, and then we're gonna enter the same chat room here. So this left side is the first prototype, still medium fidelity-ish. This one, of course, still medium fidelity-ish, a bit higher and integrating some of those features. If I go down here and I say something like, hey, how was your weekend? So when I say something like this, if two people are in a chat room, then I can see Mark said how was your weekend, and then it will translate it for me here. One of the cool things is my selected language is French here. You can select it, and then I can say something like this, and you'll also see that there's a record button here. So I'll say something like, my weekend was great. I spent it with friends. And then when I say that, Johnny's able to see that instantly. It also says record, and I get to say it in French, which is cool. So, mon week-end était super. J'ai passé du temps avec mes amis. And I'll say send here. So now that I have the French way to say it, this one's pulling a little better than this one, which is, questionable on my coding beliefs. But what's cool here is I'm sent the voice note here, and there's this little review section here. So what's cool about review is you can listen to someone's voice note. Salut, mon weekend était super et la tienne. And then, so when they say that, then I hear that, and then I can review it and say, it's a Latin, not a Lutin. You say something like that. It's a Latin, not a Lutin. So I do that, I send a voice note, and then instead of it showing as a comment response here, it gets showed as a review here. So maybe the person will get like a notification, say someone's reviewed their talking, and then that's how community chat works. So originally I had no community chat people sort of preferring prototype C over prototype A and B. There was none in the first 13, which is my first iteration. But in my second iteration, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, I think 4 community chat people. So it definitely shows that there's an improvement over iterations. And also, I saw 6 in my second iteration here. So people really think that community chat would help out Duolingo. So that's been my presentation. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and hopefully I get 100%. That would be absolutely amazing.